Hello, and thanks for joining me today. You're listening to Alive with Dr. Nimira. Over the last decade, I've been spending my days taking care of mostly women who not only have aches and pains, but who've also spent the last decade or two putting their career and family first. I stand for a world where we can live our passions and purpose all out without the fear of our physical bodies giving out. So I've created this podcast, Alive, always living in vibrant energy, as a quick way for you to learn more about your body. This really is a no frills get the information out there podcast, and I hope that you'll enjoy it. As an upper cervical chiropractor, I regularly take care of many different types of people at varying degrees of health. And over the upcoming episodes, we'll discuss many types of things that can be reduced or eliminated when you can rebalance your health at the level of your brainstem. So March is also National Nutrition Month, and I know that many of you are super busy people, so I figured why not chat today during our tip section about how we can eat healthy when we're always on the go. COVID has changed a lot for us because many people are at home more often than they were in the past. But as a lot of people start to get back to work, it's not so easy just to walk into your kitchen and grab whatever you need. And I know that it's something that's always been a struggle for me because sometimes I can go an entire day of seeing patients without actually having a proper meal. So it got really important that I had to be able to start thinking about nutrition as fuel for my body. Okay, so it's important to just start with the idea that nutrition really isn't just about what you feel like eating, it's actual true fuel for your body. But that's not all that it is. We do make memories around our food. And there's always going to be an emotional aspect of eating. It's what brings people together. So no matter how busy your day is, I want you to first think about one meal right now that you and your family can always have together. So if you work with a job where you're working into the later parts of the evening and you're not going to be home at the table with your family in time for dinner, then maybe you guys always have a family breakfast together. You just need to decide what works best for you and your family so that you have this time to make memories. I know for me, it doesn't really matter. I try to get as many patients in here as I can into the late evening. If I know patients have later days, sometimes we try and get them in during their lunch break. But I do have a rule. I'm always home at the dinner table with my family. So it doesn't matter, what I need to do to get patients in at other times of the day, or sometimes even on a weekend if I have to. I'm always at the dinner table with my family, and that's what's really important to us. So now that we have that part covered, let's talk about healthy food options to eat throughout the day. So we're not going to talk about your meals right now because that's just a whole different topic altogether. And some people like to do their 3 meals and 2 snacks. Some people eat smaller portions of food throughout the day. Everybody's a little bit different and their body functions a little bit different and their needs are a little bit different depending on what's kind of going on in their actual work day. But snacks are important to have on hand because many times what happens is when we don't eat when we're hungry and we hold off and hold off and hold off, then when it's time to actually get some food in our bodies, we either overeat because our brain hasn't had a chance to turn off that trigger, or we eat something that's unhealthy for us because at a certain point you're just like, I just need to eat something or anything to make myself not get a headache or whatever that might be. So I do like to kind of plan in advance, and I usually do all my planning on Sundays. Sundays are when I know that I have time to kind of prep out groceries for the week, prep out kind of what my snacks and foods are going to be, all those types of things. So if you're able to do that in advance, it's always going to be easier for you so that when you're on the run, you're not trying to think of something last minute and you can have something with you that's always available. And the always available isn't always going to be like a protein bar or something like that. We really do want to try and stay away from prepackaged foods if we can. Every single one of them has some sort of type of preservative in there to keep it shelf stable. So we always want to try and make sure that we're having fresh prepped foods that we can keep with us on the go, making sure that, if we know that we're taking something that needs to stay cold, that we have a lunch bag with an ice pack or something like that with us. So you want to make sure that you're getting balanced nourishment. I usually try and prep my food into categories. So I will prep some fruits, I'll prep some vegetables, I'll prep some nuts. I usually like yogurt or cheese. I'm not a big fan of boiled eggs, but some people love boiled eggs as a snack. And then sometimes you want kind of like your light and snacky things that make you feel like you're eating healthy, but not really healthy. I'm personally a big fan of air popped popcorn, and I can kind of pre-pep that if I want to in the morning and separate it out for the family. and you can get that light type of snacky feel that sometimes you just really want that isn't a fresh fruit or vegetable, while it's still being reasonably healthy. It's also important to kind of time your snacks. So for me, in terms of fruits, I usually have either some berries or a banana or an apple. Apples are one of my favorite things. I'm not a big fan of, I take that back. I'm not a big fan of apples, but apples are very multifunctional. So they're great in terms of fiber, but I actually have always used apples as a way to kind of wake myself up if I need that kind of second wind in the middle of the day. So instead of having like a cup of coffee midday, if I'm getting really tired, I like to have a cold apple because you have to chew, which keeps your mouth moving, and it's usually cold, and apples itself are just high in natural sugar, so they kind of wake you up. So I usually will eat my vegetables earlier in the day, and I'll keep my fruit for later in the day in terms of timing of my snacks. But those are great types of fruits to have on hand because they're easy to either just throw in a Tupperware or throw in your purse or bag. As long as you've kind of washed it first thing in the morning, then you can kind of eat it at whatever time you want. In terms of vegetables, really easy to carry along with you. You can either take a bunch of bell peppers and turn them into strips and throw them into baggies early in the week. You can do broccoli, which is really easy to tote around as long as you don't keep it in your bag or car for too long. Cucumber is a huge fan favorite at my house. Cucumber, I think, is everyone's favorite vegetable. I don't really know if it's technically a vegetable or not, but we categorize it that way at my house. Baby carrots or carrots are always really easy to keep around as well. Nuts, you want to make sure you don't overdo the nuts because they do have some higher fats and cholesterol, but they're also a really great source of protein. So making sure you kind of keep it varied with pistachios or cashews or almonds or whatever it is that you like, being able to have those varied throughout the week. I do love kind of my yogurt and cheese. I don't have them too often, but sometimes if I need something heavier or I want something cold, just as preference, then I like to keep some cheese or yogurt in the office. But if you're bouncing around throughout the day, that might not be a snack that you keep on hand with you. Other great sources to kind of keep on hand, beef jerky is always really easy if you're eating your protein that way. If you're at home and you need snacks, then you always have your things like nut butter they can use with like a rice cake or banana or celery or whatever. Or you have hummus that you can use for dipping. So those are just some ideas for healthier snacks that you could have on hand. And there's always lots of snacks. I like to put different things on my website when I can. I'm always posting little tips and tricks on my Facebook page. But that's all I have for today. I hope that you've learned something new and that you have some useful information to improve your health. Don't take life too seriously. Stress makes everything worse. Enjoy this week as best as you can, and I'll catch you in 2 weeks. In the meantime, purposefully live all out and reach out for help if you need it. I'm here for you.